Does this sound like you?
I have an idea for a web application, but it seems so complex.
React enables a modular and flexible approach to building web applications by breaking down the user interface into smaller, reusable components. And today we will learn how to do just that. Imagine your application idea and try to break it down into small parts that could be reused multiple times in your application. There are many cards in a deck, and each card shares a similar look, although the image and number may appear different. This is where components really shine. We will start in an empty React TypeScript project I set up using Vite. If you want to learn how to do that, watch my video here. In the src folder, we will create a new folder named Components and create a new file named card.tsx here. This will be our card component, so we will create a constant functional component named card and export it as default. Inside our functional component, we will need to return some amount of JSX for React to render our component, so we will just add a div element with the word card inside and save our component. Next, we will go back to our app.tsx file and import our card.tsx file. Now we can nest our card component into our app component by adding it into the JSX like this. What is cool about this is that you can import and use this component anywhere throughout your app while only needing to change the component in one place. Here I have added the card component inside my app component multiple times, but what if we want to display different things on each card? That is where props come in. Props are property declarations of your component and allow you to do many things such as customize the component differently, depending on what props you pass. To add props to our card component, let's head back to the card.tsx file. First, let's style our card so we can see the component better on the web page. To do this, we will be using class names from Tailwind CSS, which we already have installed. If you want to learn how to install Tailwind CSS on a React app using Vite, watch my video here. We will add a class for padding, margin, background color, and rounded corners, so our cards look a little better. Now to add a prop to our component. To do this using TypeScript, we must first outline the types of our props, so we will add an interface above our component declaration. The only prop we want to add will be called text, and it will be a string type. Then we name our props in the functional component argument and give it a type of the interface we just created. It is good practice to name your interface the component name and props so that you don't get confused. Finally, we will change the default card text we wrote earlier to instead be our prop of text and save the file. We will see errors in app.tsx because we are not adding the prop to any of the cards we used previously, so we will add the prop to each one like this. This allows us to customize each use of the card component, which is perfect for modular code. As a bonus, I will show you the power of components by dynamically rendering them based on a parent component's state. State is just a variable that a component needs to remember while your application is loaded. To do this, we will first set up state with the useState hook. Hooks are a way of hooking into features of React that are typically handled through class-based components. If that is all confusing to you, don't worry too much about it now, but consider subscribing to learn more about React as I continue to release videos. To set up state, let's first import the useState hook from React. Once that is done, we will create a constant array in our app component, which contains the destructured state, which we will call index, and a function which sets the state, which we will call setIndex from the useState hook. The useState hook can also accept an initial value, which we will set to 0. Now we will replace the card components in our app div with a button named draw that has an onClick function, which will fire our setIndex function and increment our index state by 1. Finally, we will add an array below our button, which will take our index state for length and fill with the card component. Now we have something truly awesome. We can draw cards that dynamically render based on the index state saved in our app component. You could also potentially take a look at these other videos.